Hello, I am Games Radar Plus features editor David Horton, and I am joined today by Ben Griffin, who wrote our Bloodborne review. Yes, today we are going to be going through Bloodborne starting classes.
Yeah.
When you first start the game, you'll have the option of several preset kind of character archetypes to play with.
Yeah, there are 9.
Character. 9 of them.
Yeah, called Origins.
Yeah, they all have varying different setups of starting character stats.
Yep.
Which will be useful for various different types of play. Obviously, you're free to mould those as you go along and change them as you see fit, as you were in Dark Souls. But to get you started, we thought it would be a good idea to run through basically how each of these guys play, at least for the first few hours, just so you can decide how you want to get going.
Yeah.
Right, important thing to talk about, though, is the stats that these guys deal with.
Yes.
Ben,
yes.
could you take us through those and what they do?
Dave, I can. You've got 6 as opposed to 9 from Dark Souls.
Yeah.
So you've got Vitality, which is health, physical defense. You've got Endurance, which governs stamina, physical defense, slow poison resistance, and fast poison resistance. You've got Strength, which is right-hand attack, because your melee weapons are in your right
That's
hand.
your main melee, isn't it?
Yeah. And that's physical defense as well. Skill, which is your right-hand attack, your physical defense, and your item damage,
Right.
such as things like Molotovs,
Yeah.
offensive items, stuff like that, and also like daggers, I guess, throwing knives.
Yeah.
Blood Tinge, which is new, which is left-hand attack. That's your firearms.
Yeah, that governs how much power your bullets do, isn't it?
Yeah, Quicksilver bullets.
Yeah.
And lastly, Arcane, which is left-hand attack, physical defense, and discovery, which is like luck,
So
item
that's
discovery.
the kind of drops you're going to get when you find them.
Yeah, and that's more about magic-imbued weapons, but that's for later on.
Okay, right, let's crack on then. The first of the classes we have is Milquetoast.
Milquetoast.
Described as ordinary, happy upbringing, all attributes average.
Yes.
Ben, what's he good for?
He's good for everything and nothing. He's like a good class to choose if you haven't got your journey already mapped out.
Yeah.
Because all the skill points are distributed evenly across, all his attributes. It's kind of a class to pick if you don't really know where you want to go.
Yeah, so you've got an equal chance of leveling anything faster once you decide what you want to do when you get in there.
Use it as like a jumping off platform.
Yeah, he's the beginner class then. If you don't maybe know Souls, haven't played that before, don't know exactly how you're going to spec along the way, start with him.
Correct.
Keep your options open.
Correct.
Okay, then we have Lone Survivor.
Lone Survivor. Oh, do you want to go through the description, Dave?
Why not? Why not? They're fun. Lone survivor of a lost hamlet, high life essence and vigor.
Yes. They're very tough and hardy. They're all about health. So if you can see yourself getting hit a lot,
Yeah.
like me, then you want to choose these guys. They've actually got the biggest starting health of all the Origins, 659 hit points.
That's quite a lot.
By comparison, Milquetoast has somewhere in the 500s. I wrote that down as 59, but
That's not
must
true.
have messed up a number there. But that comes at the cost of Blood Tinge and Arcane, which are a bit lower. But yeah, since there's a lack of shields in this game, you might fancy a high health, so Lone Survivor is pretty good for that.
Yeah, if you're not confident in your combat abilities yet, but you want to get stuck in quite fast, then you can sort of tank it out a bit with those guys.
I agree with you there.
Cool. Okay, then, the saddest class possibly, Troubled Childhood. Suffered misfortune in youth, highly resilient as a result, though.
It brings back memories. Yeah, it's got the highest endurance, and you can. That basically means you can get off more strikes without having to stop and wait for your stamina to recharge. You can also sprint and dodge a lot longer.
Yeah.
It's also quite skillful.
It does sound like more of a kind of a skill combat class than a tank class, really.
And skill is basically dex in Bloodborne.
Yeah.
So that means, for instance, the threaded cane, which you unlock a bit later, is kind of a whip. And that scales with skill, so you can get more damage out of that.
Yeah, we should say it's got a similar situation to Dark Souls, where kind of your weapons get more powerful as you scale up certain ability stats, which are resonant with those weapons.
Exactly.
And in his case, the skill weapons obviously are good with that.
Yeah, and the skill is basically speed.
Yeah. Okay, next, actually, maybe that wasn't the saddest one. Violent Past. Terribly violent past, rash but stronger for it.
This is more inspiring for me, because I aim to be a nasty bugger. And in Bloodborne it's good because this is the stat for all the big power weapons, like the Kirk Hammer which is a slow, massive hammer. That's one of the most powerful weapons, purely from a physical standpoint in the game. You can also do a lot of damage with the cannon. I think, if I can remember correctly, I haven't got the game in front of me, but you can only pick up the cannon if you've got enough strength, because it's so heavy. So there's not only scaling with strength, but there's a requirement
to unlock unlock the ability to carry certain things.
Exactly, yes.
Okay, now the professional. Born specialist, fit for sleuthing or academia. I'm guessing this guy isn't as much of a brawler.
He's not, no. He's he lacks the endurance of the troubled child, but it's actually got the highest skill of any origin.
Oh, right.
So, again, the threaded cane, or I don't actually know how to pronounce this, but the shikage?
Yep.
Shikage?
We'll go with one of those.
Which is like a katana kind of thing.
Yep.
A speedy katana. You want to pick those if you want to max out the potential of the professional.
Okay. Next we have the military veteran. Experienced in war, a soldier with strength and skill.
Yeah, well, Dave, as you can expect, the military veteran, he's all about dealing damage. And he's second only to the violent pass guy in strength. So it's the second best strength in the game.
All right.
But he's also got good skill. So it makes more weapons viable with this. So yeah, a good balance of strength and skill means you can roll with whatever weapon you want, really.
Yeah, you can at least spend the first few hours kind of working out which is your favourite weapon type, and then kind of specialise towards that as you go from a fairly open base.
Yeah.
Right, noble Sion then. Sion is a respectable line with faith in your pedigree.
Yeah, and I've just noticed that these kind of little sentences don't mean anything.
Not really.
It doesn't really mean anything if you've got a respectable pedigree, does it, in Bloodborne?
No, everyone's going to go in and start killing stuff regardless. So.
Exactly. But yeah, out of all the origins, the noble Sion starts with the most blood echoes at a whopping 540.
So rich.
So that, yeah, blood echoes are basically souls, and they use those to upgrade. The noble Sion 2 has skill, and I forgot to mention that skill governs how well you can use offensive items. As I mentioned before, Molotovs and throwing knives and stuff like that.
So he's good for tools as well as he is for hitting stuff.
He's good for tools.
Good. Right. The number 8 would be the cruel fate, which rhymes rather beautifully.
Oh, I love that.
Faced terrible hardships, but now very confident in your purpose.
Yeah, bit cocky, bit mean in my opinion, but the hardest stat to start on in my opinion. Yeah, I'll tell you why, Dave.
Tell me why.
The cruel fate is a dab hand with magic imbued weapons.
Right.
But you won't see these until 20 hours into the game.
No, I mean I played a few hours last night, and I found obviously I've started getting the kind of gear that I'm going to need to imbue, craft my weapons with more magic powers later on. But I can tell it's still a way off.
Yeah. So while vitality and endurance are reasonable, low strength and skill make it kind of a tough origin to justify, in my opinion.
So it's the kind of thing where if you're willing to kind of gruel through for a while, the rewards will be there. Gruel, having a grueling time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, if you're willing to kind of stick it out for a while, then the rewards are there, but you're going to have to wait.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactamundo.
Okay. Oh, actually, I was wrong about the others being sad. This is the saddest one.
Oh, they're all sad.
The waste of skin. You are nothing, talentless. You shouldn't have been born.
This made me sad when I read it. This is a callback to the deprived class of Dark Souls, if you remember that, where you start in nothing but a loincloth and you have a big club in your hand.
Right.
Like a sad caveman. It's for experts, really.
Yeah.
Because all the stats are lower, and whereas all the origins start on level 10, this one starts on level 4.
Oh, God.
So it's one for people who really want to test themselves. But there is the upside, because you start on a lower lower level, sorry. That means there's more room to maneuver. So you don't start on level 10.
Yeah.
You start on level 4.
So you've got a much more open path to kind of grow in your own direction.
You said that rather eloquently, Dave.
Did I? Good.
Yes.
I was hoping for that. Anyway, thanks, Ben. That's really good. Hopefully, if you're starting Bloodborne this week, next week, sometime soon, there's going to be something that takes your fancy, and hopefully this helps somewhere along the line.
I hope so.
Yeah. For all other things Bloodborne and every other big game you need to know about, keep it on Games Radar.
See ya.
That was a pretty sweet video, right? If you want to see more, go to Games Radar's YouTube page over here. Or if you want to read, maybe up your game a little bit, go to GamesRadar.com.